Over the last 10 to 15 years, I've developed an interest in the different ways that students may act as partners in learning and teaching in higher education. Though I've only used the term students as partners over the last 3 or so years. Students as partners is a hot topic internationally, and it's been hard to go to a higher education conference in the last 2 to 3 years where there's not been some discussion of the concept. I'd like to argue in this short talk that students as partners is a powerful idea, the implementation of which has the potential for transforming the nature of higher education. There is an urgent need to make students as partners a major theme in Canadian higher education, practice and policy. Earlier this year, I was the lead author with Abby Flint and Kathy Harrington on a publication entitled Engagement Through Partnership, Students as Partners in Learning and Teaching in Higher Education, which may be downloaded from the UK Higher Education Academy website. In that publication, we presented a new conceptual model of the nature of students as partners. You will see in the outer ring of the model that students as partners is part of the student engagement debate. But not all forms of student engagement involve students as partners. Partnership is seen as a specific form or process of student engagement, with very high levels of active participation of students. Partnership is essentially a way of doing things rather than an outcome in itself. Our conceptual model distinguishes 4 broad areas in which students can act as partners in learning and teaching. They are often treated separately in the literature. Visually, the model is represented as 4 overlapping circles to emphasize that distinctions between the areas are blurred and interrelationships are complex and diverse when put into practice. In the top left-hand corner of the model is learning, teaching and assessment. Engaging students in partnership means seeing students as active participants in their own learning, and although not all active learning involves partnership, it does mean engaging students in forms of participation and helps prepare them for the roles they may play in full partnership. Engaging students as teachers and assessors in the learning process is a particularly effective form of partnership. Secondly, we have subject-based research and inquiry in the bottom left-hand corner. Whether it involves selected students working with faculty on research projects, or all students on all courses engaging in inquiry-based learning, there is much evidence of the effectiveness of this approach in stimulating deep and retained learning. As with active learning, not all ways of engaging students in research and inquiry involve partnership. But there are many examples where students have extensive autonomy and independence and negotiate as partners many of the details of the research and inquiry projects that they may undertake. Thirdly, in the bottom right, we have scholarship of teaching and learning. Conducting projects in partnership with students has been suggested by Peter Felton as one of the 5 principles of good practice in the scholarship of teaching and learning. There are an increasing number of effective initiatives of engaging students as change agents in institutions, where they undertake research projects into the learning and teaching they experience with the intention of enhancing the quality of student learning. Finally, in the top right, we have the Curriculum Design and Pedagogic Consultancy Circle. Students are commonly engaged in course evaluations and in departmental faculty-student committees. But it is rarer for institutions to go beyond the student voice and engage students as partners in designing the curriculum and giving pedagogic advice and consultancy. Yet where institutions have implemented such initiatives, they have seen significant benefits for both students and faculty. There are many examples of students engaged in areas on the left-hand side of the model, learning, teaching and research. And in some cases, these include all students on a particular course. There are fewer examples, as yet, of students as partners in quality enhancement on the right-hand side of the model, and usually these involve only a few self-selected or invited students. The notion of partnership learning communities is at the centre of the model, to draw attention to the importance of the processes by which partnership operates in the 4 different areas. If the impact of the partnership is to extend beyond individual projects and initiatives, it needs to be ingrained in the culture and ethos of an institution. Fostering a strong sense of community among staff and students increases the likelihood that partnership will be embedded and sustained. The development of partnership learning communities also invites us to critically reflect on existing relationships, identities, processes and structures. For example, by acknowledging the dual roles of faculty and students as colleagues and scholars when they learn, inquire and work in partnership. Students as partners is a concept and practice whose time has come. Co-learning, co-designing, co-developing, co-researching and co-inquiring involves sharing power and an openness to new ways of working and learning together. Hence, it has the potential to transform the nature of higher education. There is an exciting opportunity for Canadian higher education to build on existing good practice and play a leading role in the students as partners movement internationally. We need to strive to make partnership and its substantial benefits available to all.